What's up, guys?
What's up, peoples?
What's up?
How are you guys doing today? We have King or Mark with us today because the topic today is about him.
We're going to tell you guys why we let our son cry.
Yeah. Which sounds kind of weird, but it's an important topic.
It is. So go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of videos about family and life and parenting and marriage and those type of things.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So, letting our son cry. So, this is our son. His name is Mark, or King. He is almost 3 years old. He'll be 3 years old in about a month and change. Mm-hmm. And then so, we feel as parents it's important to occasionally let him cry. And what does that mean? Let him cry? Like, he's your child. You don't want him to cry. But I think crying and letting him cry sometimes is an important step in development. It teaches him in a way that he won't always get what he wants. Of course, you want to make your child happy. Of course, you want to give them all their needs and stuff like that. But at the same time, life and the world isn't always going to be the best to them. So you have to kind of like allow them to sort of have those experiences at home so they get used to being told no and those type of things.
So we don't want him to think he can always get his way because that's not realistic. So we do want him to know that it's not always going to be moments where we're going to say yes all the time, and that he's not always going to, have everything he wants in the moment. He's going to hear no, and that no is normal, and that it's okay to cry. It's okay to get upset because no, you're going to hear no. Sometimes it's going to be no.
Yeah. And that's life. And then so I feel that if he learns that at home, when he experiences that out in the wild, out in school or whatever, he's used to hearing the word no and hearing the word stop. And because of that, sometimes when you say no to a child, you tell a child stop, they cry about it. And then it's okay that the child it's okay that he's crying. It's okay that he's upset.
Yeah.
And we talk with him and help him work through those feelings. We don't just, cry, go somewhere, but we talk, hey, I understand you're upset, I understand you're sad, but X, Y, Z. But you can't have this. But the answer is no. And he's able to process those feelings in a safe environment. That way, if he gets told no or stop if he goes told no or stop at school and it makes him upset and feel that way, he already understands how to handle it and to calm himself down.
Yeah. So we basically want him to know what no means here at home first, because we don't want when he goes to school or goes out into the real world for that to be the first. For that to be. We just don't want school or daycare to be the first time he hears no, and for him to act out and get really frustrated there. We want him to hear no here at home first, so he can work out those frustrations and feelings with the mom and dad and know how to cope. Even though he's only 2 years old, you should still allow opportunities for your children to work through those emotions, because they're gonna get frustrated, they're gonna cry, and you don't want that to happen at school or daycare. Or
in a public environment and they throw a big temper tantrum. Mm-hmm. I think that when you have children that throw these large temper tantrums, some of that is because that's part of them expressing their emotions, whatever. So was that
and they hear yes all the time at home, and they're like, "Why are you telling me no?" And that's why they're having
and they don't understand how to deal with it
in public, going crazy.
Because they're freaking out. They're like, "What's going on? Why are you acting different? I'm the spoiled child. I get to have whatever I want." So at this age, even this young, you have to instill you're not going to get what you want all the time.
Exactly.
And as he gets older, you can do that different ways. But even at this age, he has to learn that. That way, it doesn't become a staple. And as he gets older, it's hard to teach it to him. So as he's learning now, he's also learning you're not always going to get what you want. And that's okay. That's life.
Exactly.
And it's important as his parents to express that with him in a safe environment. And that's the main thing, to have a safe environment where we're not being abusive, we're not being rude or mean, but we allow opportunities just to say no. And okay, it's okay.
And help him work through those emotions.
And those feelings.
Because he cries.
He cries. Like bedtime sometimes is rough, but it's okay that you don't want to go to bed. It's okay that you're crying right now. I understand you're sad. I understand you want to stay up, but it's bedtime.
It's bedtime.
And you have to process the fact that it's bedtime and then work your way, calm your emotions down, lay down, and go to sleep. And that's a process that he has had to learn over time. And then some nights, bedtime is no problem. Other nights, bedtime is a hassle. But bedtime is bedtime. And once we say it's bedtime, no amount of crying or whining or anything else will change that. And that's a big part of it, is that once you say no or stop, you have to stick to it. You can't then say, okay, well, the child's upset crying, then you allow them to have it. Because then you're teaching them that, my hand was in a spot, then you're teaching him that him crying and acting out is okay. And that's how he gets what he wants. So my rule is that once one of us says something, it's like he wants to snap or something. If you want, dude, hey, calm it down. You gotta bring it down a little bit, man. Bring it down a little bit. If he wants a snack or something, and one of us says no to it, the answer is no. There is no coming to the other parent and getting the other parent to say yes.
Yeah.
So once we say no, once we say stop, once we make a decision about something, that's the decision, period. Because if you constantly are changing what you're saying and constantly changing that, then they'll come to expect that. They'll come to say, okay, I know that if daddy says no, I can cry to mommy and mommy would say yes.
And he does try that. Like if daddy says no, he'll cry and he'll come to me and see if I'm going to say yes. But I always say no. And he still does it. I say no, he'll go to daddy, see if daddy says no. Yeah. And
it's important to have that unified front. That way he's not putting us against each other. So even if I would have said yes if he had asked me, if he asks her, she says no, the answer is no. And that's kind of how we operate. You have to operate. That way he learns, hey, it's okay. I guess the answer is no. Figure something out. Go move on.
So even though we say no sometimes and we let him cry, we do definitely spoil him. He is the only child and he gets his way like all the time. When we say no, it's basically when we put a limit to certain things. Like, for example, if he's already eaten like a whole bunch of blueberries and I know if he eats any more, he'll have a stomach ache, I say no. Like, there's a limit to what he can do. Yeah. But as an only child and as first-time parents, we basically do give him everything he wants. And we try to, make sure he's happy all the time. Another example, you see him running behind us, just jumping on the couches. We don't really care. He's
a boy. He's enjoying himself. He's having fun. He's not hurting himself.
Yeah, so we let him jump around.
Let him do what he
wants. But when
wants.
we see that he may get hurt or he's in danger, we will tell him.
Or he goes too far.
Yeah, too far. We'll tell him no.
There's a limit to it, dude.
Don't do this.
Relax,
make sure you're
sit
careful.
down somewhere, yeah.
Even though we let him cry, we don't let him,
cry in a corner
cry
by himself.
Alone. We make sure, like we're with him. He's working through those emotions.
The emotions. That's the biggest part of it. So the idea isn't to say no, let him cry, let him basically be upset in a corner. The idea is to say no, let him cry, and help him work through that disappointment of not getting what he wants.
Yep, and let him know why.
And let him know why. We explain to it, this is why you can't have what you want in this moment. It's not we're mommy, we're daddy, we're authoritative. The answer is no. It's no because of this and no because of that. And then sometimes you don't always get an explanation. Sometimes the answer is just no.
Yeah, because mom and dad says so.
Because mom and dad says so. But we try to, we can, to explain to him in his own 2-year-old way why. That way he's able to understand and process it and realize. And then as time goes on, he learns. So when in public we say no, he doesn't have a big freak out. He's like, okay, the answer is no. I'm going to keep playing.
Yeah.
And then so that's kind of what he's learned over time. And then people are like, oh, your child's a good child. I'm like, oh, no, it's through process.
And the earlier the better. You don't want to start when they're 10
older
or 5.
No.
Because
at that point, they've already
hard.
gone to another level. No, this is when they start developing independence is when you have to kind of start tempering that independence in a way and say, hey, there's boundaries to this love. There's boundaries to this freedom you have that you discovered of independence. Yeah. And that's part of a parent's job is to safely build those boundaries in a safe, fun environment.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video.
Yes, like, share, and subscribe.
Comment.
Like I said, this is the kind of videos we do on this channel.
Marriage, parenthood,
family,
motherhood.
Those type of things. So if you're interested in those things, please watch more of our videos. And yeah.
See you next time.
Deuces.
Bye.